right, who do we start out with in the beginning of chapter 1? Not Ellie. It's not Moses. Close. Someone raise your hand and tell me. Who knows how to pronounce it? Yes? Yeah, it's Moshe or Moish, the beetle. And we're not talking about this 1960s rock band. What is a beetle? Did anyone look it up what a beetle is? Raise your hand and tell me, yeah. A what? Disrupt, okay.
Isn't it somebody that would kind of like a church official that would help, maybe usher, things like that?
Yeah, he's a church official. And if you're here next year with me, when we read Scarlet Letter, there's a beetle in there as well. And he's literally the guy that brings Hester Prynne out to the scaffold. So he's kind of like the church official. But of course, he's not in a church. He's in a what?
Synagogue?
He's in a synagogue.
Well, I pronounced that right.
So he's the Jewish church official. And someone describe him for me after raising your hand. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember he was poor.
Very poor. What else? Anything else about him? What's his age?
I forget.
Anybody? Is he young? Is he old? Yes.
I know he's young. I'm pretty sure he's
Probably the opposite of that. He's old. Very good. You got that right. He's old and he's poor, and he's kind of an odd character. Okay. So he talks to Ellie. And what's the weird thing that Ellie does when he goes to the synagogue? Yeah. Yeah, so Ellie, he goes to the synagogue, and he's very religious. He's a very religious young lad. And he cries when he prays. And then he kind of wonders why he cries when he prays. And Moshe tells him not to get very deep into religion, right? So there's several layers of Jewish religion. You've got like the Talmud, and you've got the Torah, and then you've got the Kabbalah. And the Torah is the base document. It's the Bible, right? It's been a big scroll. They roll it out. And that's the Bible. And at age 13, when you're a Jewish kid, you get to read the Torah for the first time. You're a man or a woman. And that's when you have your bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. So the Talmud is all the commentary that the rabbis have made about the Torah. The Kabbalah is something kind of very different. It's very mystical. And it kind of talks, it's like a philosophy about the connection between God and man. In fact, like, one of the cool things for you guys who are Final Fantasy VII fans, one of the ideas in Kabbalah is Sephiroth. So it's kind of cool, I think. None of you know what I'm talking about. That's great. But, so he wants to learn the Kabbalah, and Moshe is like, no, don't worry about it. It's not worth it. And so Ellie, he cries and he prays, and he wonders why he's crying while he prays. And Moshe is taken out of the community. Why is that? Raise your hand, tell me. Yeah? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, that's after the fact.
He was an immigrant. They deported him.
Exactly. He's a foreign Jew. And so they deport him. But he comes back to Sighet, and he says, what? One of you guys, yeah. Alex, yeah, I'm pointing at you. You know?
Oh, didn't he
sees people massacred. But, as you said, no one believes him. Excellent job. You just came straight from your brain. It's great. I know I ask that myself sometimes. Okay. And so why didn't the people believe him? Because they thought he was crazy. And of course, he is a beetle, so he is only involved in religion. He's not involved in kind of the real world. He doesn't have a business. He just stays at the synagogue. He takes care of the synagogue. He's old and he's poor. And so he's kind of seen as an outcast in the community itself. Okay, so now we got a little process thing here. How do the Jews of Sighet begin to lose their rights? Do you remember? Do you remember?
Was it because they were, like, some of them were Jews, and so, with the Nazis?
Yeah, that's true, but like, it's step by step. They lose their rights, yeah.
When the soldiers came in, they quarantined them in the ghetto.
Okay, the
It
soldiers
was Ghetto
come in.
1 and I think Ghetto 2. And then they had to, later on they had to leave the ghetto.
There's a little bit, well, there's some other steps that are taken. Does anyone remember? Yeah. Okay, first you got the gold stars. Yeah, I'm just looking for points here, yeah.
I remember that it said they couldn't go out past 6.
They have a
was it?
curfew.
Yeah, and also, if their window faced out of the ghetto, they had to board it up with stuff.
Okay, and that's we're getting to here now. So we're back in the, so we're going from gold stars to curfew to ghetto. Okay, and then finally at the end, what's going on?
I didn't finish this chapter. I kind of,
I wouldn't admit that, but that's okay.
I bought the audiobook.
You're on tape now. Yeah, and you can do that too. YouTube has the complete audio, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's all.
$10 for it on iTunes. Is it really free?
Nah, you can.
Okay, last one. What's the end of chapter 1? What's happening?
Oh, they start marching.
Okay, they march them, and then where do they march them off to?
Concentration
Well, they don't march them to the concentration camps. They march them to where?
The mall,
They march them off to cattle cars that are connected to a train, right? Okay, let's see who's with us. Just here we go. Beep. It is Dylan Thrower, Man of Mystery. Okay, well, I'm going over chapter 1. I'm going to post it to YouTube in a little bit. Okay, so what is a ghetto? We always think of, because of certain types of music, yeah, we always think of ghetto in a certain way, but what is it? The Warsaw Ghetto, what type of place is it? Okay, that's how we look at it, but yeah, it definitely does have poverty and destitution. Okay, but what is it primarily used for? What are we separating?
Like different people from like different races.
And in this case,
The Jews from the regular people.
from non-Jews, right? And that's what the ghettos are used for. And in fact, what they did is, in Warsaw, you had like 8 blocks or so, and they literally cut off the access points, put machine guns here. So this whole area of apartment buildings or blocks or whatever, that was just for Jews only. So they would actually clear out the populace and then put all the Jews there. And one of the things that happened was you had the Warsaw Uprising, where a bunch of Jews got some weapons. And they came out and they shot some of the German soldiers there, which was one of the reasons why it escalated and they were moved to the concentration camps. Number Verse 7, why did the citizens resist the truth even though it was in front of them? So we had the incident where Ellie's father, he goes to the council, and the council tells him what? What's told to him? Yeah.
That they have to leave the ghetto.
That they have to leave the ghetto. And of course everyone's kind of like, oh, that's not really happening. We're going to be okay. And why do you think that they think that way? Yeah.
They're dumb.
Okay, they're dumb, but I mean, in a sense, aren't we all dumb? I mean, at the beginning of March, we were thinking like, yeah, this Corona thing's not going to be a big deal.
I don't know about you, I also prefer a zombie apocalypse.
But what I mean is, like, in all seriousness, a lot of us were thinking that this thing was just going to kind of blow away, and that it was going to be a big deal. And now look at all of us, we're all here in masks, and we're not doing normal school anymore. I mean, nobody imagined this. In the same way, you kind of have this with chapter 1, that people like the status quo, right? They don't want change in their lives because change means difficulty, and so they kind of avoid even thinking about the fact that their life's going to change. And then the final question for chapter 1, what are the conditions of the train at the end of the chapter? Standing room, or how many people are there, or what it feels like. I mean, did it have nice seats? Yeah.
It's like, I think I said like 80 people in one car.
Okay, so there's 80 people in one car.
Smelly, it's hot.
Smelly, hot. Anything else? Like, do they get fed?
Oh, they were really skinny because they were getting fed.
Okay, so they didn't have any food or much food.
They didn't even read the book. It's different.
It's beautiful. Okay, so this is kind of a good summary of what happened in chapter 1. You're going to have about, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes to read chapter 2 in class, in silent reading. So Charles, that'd be a good time to catch up on 1. Yeah,
Am I allowed to use my earbuds to listen to the audiobook?
as long as it's on the Chromebook, I just can't have the phone out.
Can I have the phone in my pocket? Because I got, they're wireless Bluetooth earbuds.
As
I
long as
wouldn't-
I
I
don't see the
wouldn't-
phone.
What?
As long as I don't see the phone.
Big facts, okay.
Okay, 'cause we've been told, like, if we see a phone, call the administrator. They come in, it's gonna be like the Gestapo.